balance at the end of international periods and the Heineken Cup. Was this one of the toughest dilemmas you faced? Such a short turnaround and such a good performance of the weekend?
Definitely. It's the hardest because from a selection process, it's an imperfect world we live in here. It is, because it's not consistency. And there's moral dilemmas that you have with picking the deeds and rewarding the deeds from the shop floor, but not punishing at the same time kids who have been away. And it's a very fine line to tread. And it's not an ideal world for selectors, it isn't.
Just from the people we've been seeing today for interview, suggests you're maybe going to go a bit of a side from last weekend.
I think, look, once again, I think the difficulty you had when players go away, and even though they've only gone for two weeks, it's relatively a short week when you come back. It's not easy on them. Different calls again. They've had to learn again. It's easy to sit there and say they're professional athletes and do that, but they're also human beings that got to affect that. We've got two very short turnarounds here. We've got an eye very much on this week, but certainly an eye on the following week too. So we're sort of in our own head picking two teams that we could think we could balance off. It doesn't mean there's massive changes, but we're looking at the games as two games and trying to get appropriate the amount of work needed to be effective and in both games. And I think that what's probably for the very first time has put a lot of pressure on us is the fact that the deeds of the kids that have been here, and that's put a lot of pressure on us and for the integrity of what we're trying to be here too. And I think some of the work that these lads have done need to be rewarded, to be fair.
Oh, your injuries, Scott?
Still working through that. We've got a couple from the weekend, the test that we're just going through. I think we're just getting a couple looked at there and whether they can train today, and that may affect the eventual call, whether we leave them a week and send them off that the next week. So we're just waiting on that. We'll be a little clearer tomorrow after the session today what they can do, but we're probably 3 or 4 that are questioning mark that could affect the end decision.
So that's mostly in Wales contingent then, isn't it? 3 or 4? Just 3 or 4.
Yeah, maybe. But when you add on the Gwyn boots and Adam and
Adam's definitely up with you.
ask us tomorrow. So once again, we don't know.
But there is hope on it.
Yeah, there's hope. He'll certainly have a run out today. We certainly have a run out, but we will be, give due consideration to, his injury and what he can and can't do and what he's required to do in a game. So, he'll get a test run, but it affects the knock-on effect is quite dramatic there, and so we'll see how we go.
How's Shane?
Yeah, I think he's pulled up all right. He's got a bit of man flu, as we say that at the moment, but once again, he won't train today, but hopefully that he'll be okay.
Scott, you must have been delighted with Reese Webb.
Yeah, look, it was one of the. It was a funny thing with Reese Webb. At the end of last year, when we were making decisions of who we'd keep and who we didn't keep, his form caused me a massive dilemma. It did, because I had a person in mind that I thought would be really good for this region. And I thought, okay, he could play the 9 role, but Reese's role and Reese's form went through the roof in that period, which made me think that I didn't want to stunt the kid's growth. I feel that there's a test player in the making there. So I finished up changing the decision, and it was one of the reasons we went for Khan, is the fact that Khan can play a multitude of positions. And I think that is very, very good for Reese. It puts enough pressure on Reese to say that, but it also allows us to have versatility with the kid that we bought. So Reese's form and Reese's where he is made us change the view of our recruitment. And I think he's a very, very good rugby player. In actual fact, I think he's a test player, and he's done wonderfully well.
How's Shane sort of emotionally as well as physically? Because it must have been a hell of a weekend for him.
Yeah, look, we spoke as a group about it yesterday. I think even men being men, I think we're allowed to say things that, that we really mean and openly mean, and I think we stated within the group that whilst we're very, very glad to have him and have him back more regularly, which from an Osprey point of view is great, I think it's hard not to acknowledge the deeds that guy's done for rugby, isn't it? And it's certainly a privilege for me to sit here and say that I coached him, but it's also a privilege to say he's been a local boy that's done really, really well on the world stage. So I think I speak on behalf of all of us here, and I mean it sincerely, it's been a privilege to say that we have been involved with the lad, because he's been nothing but sheer brilliance to watch and to coach. So it's an emotional time for him, but it happens to us all, doesn't it? I was once good looking one day, didn't I? Things change pretty quick, don't they?
Is there a plus, Scott, or minus to be playing at Wembley?
I haven't really thought about it, mate, to be honest. I've got other things to worry about. I think the best part about if you're a paid sportsman or anything is the fact you want to play in the best arenas, you want to play in the best environments you can, don't you? I mean, if you're a rock star, you want to play in the big arenas. If you're an actor, you want to play on the big stage. That's what you want to do. And I don't think our guys are any different. I don't think any sportsman's any different. Given the choice of playing there or in the backyard somewhere or somewhere else, they take there every day of the week. And it's got a great, it's a big part of the history of sport in Britain, and it has many tales to tell. And hopefully we can write a chapter or two as well.
You would have been involved in the Welsh setup when they played Saracens away in the quarterfinals.
No. Oh yes, I did. Yeah, it was about there. Yeah.
So you've had a different perspective on it, but I would say that's one of the worst results in Ospreys rugby history. Does that have any impact on?
Do you do motivational talks for a living?
Funnily enough, no.
You're definitely a half-empty man, aren't you, mate? Like, did you wake up every morning and think how bad life could be, or not? Hey?
Well,
Jesus, what a motivational, inspirational talk that is. Yes, mate.
Is there a worse result in Ospreys rugby history?
Well, to be honest, mate, I don't. My history's tomorrow, next day. That's it.
That's what I was asking. Is the history of relevance to this?
No. To me, it's about another game. Different group of players, different group of personnel, different ground, different opposition. Get on with it. Same names. That's it.
What about Saracens now then, Scott? Obviously, the big, powerful side. I mean, where would you say their particular strengths lie?
Big, powerful side.
Thank you.
It's very question. At the end of the day, they are big, powerful. They've got a, they're very South African influence, haven't they? They play, you know what you're going to get, don't you? And it'll be an interesting day at the office. There's no doubt. Look, they're a formidable outfit. There's no doubt about it. And we're going out there with a great deal of respect for what they are and what they're capable of. And so nothing really changes from there.
Mind you, Northampton did rather well against them a few weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I was.
I
went up there and had a look, and
interesting game, wasn't it?
yeah, it was an interesting game. But once again, I think if I was to be fair on one side, I think one side the week before got something that they didn't expect, and the other side was went and got battered and bruised across the pond. So I think you probably saw two sides coming off different games, if you like. So whilst you look at it, the side that we come up with will be a different one to that one, I am sure of that.
Scott, what have you made of the rise of Owen Farrell? For a young guy, he seems to be able to handle himself on and off the pitch very well.
Done really well. He comes from reasonable pedigree, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think I spoke to Eddie Jones when he was at Saracens. I think he was the father and son combination. I think they actually played in the same game. So I think he got, he's come from good pedigree, good stock, tough kid, no doubt. Reminds me a lot of a Western Suburbs Aussie kid in many ways, brought up in the, as we call them, the Mungos, and he's learnt the ropes the hard way, and that's not a bad thing in a professional and physical sport.
How confident you, Scott?
I've decided to go ahead and play the game. Okay, I haven't called it off, so I'm confident enough to turn out.
How do you look at the group? Because it's been, everyone's taken something from it so far.
Yeah, I think it's going to go to the wire again. That's the way it is. I think we can all do each other a favour, but our destiny's in our own hands again, and that's not a bad place to be. It's not. Look, these pools aren't easy. It isn't. It's So at the end of the day, we'll our destiny is where our world we play, and that's up to us. It's up to no one else. So if we continue to do our job and compete, we'll be there or thereabouts.
You spoke about El Home and Foul, eh? How pleased you with progress and Matthew Moore? Now he's playing quite regularly.
Look, I've got to do justice to Nipper because I love Nip. Happy with where he's going. He still needs some work on his game. He does, and we're continually putting the effort in. And so is he, to be fair, and he's going to be a fine acquisition in the future for not only our region but for Wales, because he is a little different, and that's a good thing.
Talking of Wales, Scott, what's your injury count now? Who you definitely have with, and have you lost any?
You must have listened before. We'll go to the wire on a couple of kids, permutations. We're trying to be fair here. As on the squad, we'll close the play today. We'll be a bit clearer. This guy's having a run out, and we'll know a bit clearer. So tomorrow will be a lot more definite with things. But we've only got 3 or 4 that can change the permutations of the squad. So whether we be patient and give them another week, we may well do that.
I know it's a question that gets asked, but in terms of, it was an unusual situation. Not only did you have the players late because of the World Cup, they then throw in another international right in between rounds of Heineken. Warren Gatton said he didn't even want the game, but gave into financial pressures to spend to help fund the regions, and yet it's probably the regions who are going to be suffering with the loss of players and the loss of time with the players.
Is it ideal? No. But it's reality. The only house we'll get on with it, just get on with it.
What do you think of Peter Stringer's signing for Saracens?
I think he's one of those kids that I've actually had a great deal of admiration for. Once again, it's no different than Nipper in many ways. He defies logic in many ways, and I think he's been a wonderful scrum half for Munster over those years. He certainly gets the ball away, and he's a great pro. And I don't know if he's available to play yet. I think he is. Yeah, so it's registered. I'm not sure. There's an argument over the Heineken Cup. It's certainly available for the Premiership. I'm not sure about that. So he's a wonderful player, no doubt, and so I thought it would be a fine acquisition for them behind that big pack. There's no doubt.
Do you think, Scott, when a team, everyone says at the start of Heineken, home games are crucial, you have to win your home games. When a team then takes their home game to what is effectively a neutral venue, does that give the away team a bit more of a chance? Because it's actually, in a way, you're both away teams.
Do you think?
Well, I
don't know if there'll be 50,000 Ospreys supporters there, mate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's probably just a few rugby fans there, isn't it?
I think, well, your team, look, at the end of the day, would our blokes want to play at Wembley? Yes.
Oh, it's great for the Ospreys.
No, I think at the end of the day, whether it's home or not, do they want to play there? Yes. Do both teams want to play there? Yes. Is it going to be 2 competitive sides playing? You're too right, it will be. Will it be one heck of a game? Let's hope it is. So that's for others to decide. I think it's the arena is where the arena is, and we'll go there to perform.
Have they sacrificed some of their home advantage?
I thought I just answered that, mate. No, mate. To be honest, that's for someone else to worry about. We just want to go and have a crack. That's what we'll do.
Shane, I see somewhere that he might be about an 18-month extension, is that correct?
Sorry, mate?
Shane, is he about 18 months extension to his current contract, or is he 18 months left and then perhaps another season he's been offered?
Look, I think from where I am with the Shane thing, it was really important that we kept Shane. I think that with the structural changes we were making and what we're asking of the club and trying to show the world that we are slightly different when you consider that we're only playing one foreigner in our team. Never gets mentioned, I'm sure. But anyway, and I think we're doing plenty good things for Welsh rugby. I think we are. And he was an integral part of that because, once again, you can say words, but you don't want to understate some of the things you want to say. He epitomises the region. He epitomises a kid that defied the odds. and not just in Wales but on the world stage, and that's what we all want as coaches. We don't want kids just to talk purely national, being very good nationally. We want them to be great internationally. That's what we should extol in all kids here. And Shane is a perfect model for that. So he, for me, epitomises what we were trying to get in this region. So if we can extend him, that would get my support.
He's got 18 months left on him.
That's my understanding. It's just signed for 2 years, which is, well, we're 4 or 5 months into that period now. But I think, you know, we'd be naive to not look at him future commercially as well. He's tied to this club, he's important to us, and he speaks globally, and that's a good thing.
See, one thing you've definitely done well is take players and move them into the coaching.
One of the big part of we've done something well, is that right? No, look, it's one of the mandates I got here was to do that, which is why we need to push some kids through. And when you have a look at our junior sides here that coach, we've probably got 7 or 8 of the boys who are actively involved in the development of our junior kids here. And so they give up their time as aspirant coaches, if you like, you know. And I think it doesn't get stated, it doesn't, but we note it here. And one of the development plans we have is with the integration of Bridgend, Swansea, you know, Neath on a separate issue, but we used to try to get these young kids through. Steve Taney's going to be a wonderful coach. It was a difficult period for us to get rid of Steve as a player, but it was certainly a great bonus for the organisation to get him as a coach, because I think he's got wonderful credibility to be a coach. But that's part of our mandate. We want the young development coaches here. It's not my job here to finish here. It's my job to lead this place with good young coaches coming through. And I think we've got a couple of good in the pipeline. So, and there's a willingness from the shop floor, as you can see, the Ian Goffs, the Nicky Walker. We're littered with kids who give up their time and effort here to coach the kids, and I think we've got some really good, powerful kids coming through. And Shane's another one that can fit into that category. So we've got a lot of kids here that we see as aspirant and future regional coaches, which is great. They can sit there and talk to you blokes, you know, while I'm sitting on the beach somewhere.
Always down to win.
A competitor, isn't he, really? Disappointed. So the operations team to success. The issue that we've got with injury is that there's been, when you look at the medical journals and you like Grey's Anatomy, as they say, there's not a lot of history on the injury and the length of duration for sportsmen. It's not, we're talking a kid that's, big toe is really important for his position, isn't it? Pushing and jumping and the like. So I think not knowing is the frustration because of history. So the operation deemed a success, it is, but the how and the when and all that, well, we're going to let nature take its course regarding that. However, what I will say is, if there's anyone who can defy odds, medical odds, it's this kid. Because this kid, what he did to get back for that Biarritz game, that defied all journals. So I think he's just sort of that downside when a competitive athlete wants to play, and a competitive coach who wants him to play.
Have you any idea? I know you say just that nature. Have you any idea? New Year, Six Nations.
Listen, mate, if I was being really sarcastic to the medical team, and you were one of my medical team, what really comes back is we're between 8 and 69 weeks. That's basically the scheme of things here at the moment. So, I mean, that's even by the medical fraternity, it's quite a large scope we're talking here. At the end of the day, we're trying to look at it positive. We are, because he defies logic. He does. The injury that he came back for after the Six Nations that got us to Biarritz, that was in half the duration that everyone anticipated him to be back in. So, to be fair, done incredibly well. But all the journals that we've got through, all the medical reports here, it's just because the big part is he's an athlete, that part of his body's crucial, and so there's a big question mark. We'd like to think that middle of Six Nations he'd be ready up rather than fine. We'd like to think that, but who knows?